Hi. So I had somebody say something to me the other day and it shocked me. Shocked me because it was a reflection back about me. And I was like, oh, if that is the way that I am portraying myself, then we've got some serious difficulties right now. If this is your first time here, my name is Dr. Piper Grant. I am a licensed clinical psychologist. I am a mama of 2 girls, and I am the founder of Born into Motherhood. Weekly, I try and use this space to talk about all the trials, tribulations, and beautiful things about motherhood, sometimes interweaving data from psychological studies or social studies, along with just my experiences and conversations with other women about mothering. Here's what happened to me. Last week, I was talking to somebody and she reflected something back to me so honestly and beautifully, but was just like, yeah, but it just seems like you've got it all together. Like, it just seems like you've got your life together. And I was like, what? That's how I am portraying myself? I was like, okay, if that is what the messaging is, then let me clarify that right now. I do not have my life together, by no means. I think that's incredible that it even appears like that to people around me, and never my intention. But it almost shocked me because I am the person that can't get back to text messages in a timely fashion. I've definitely forgotten to order my food. I've definitely forgotten to feed myself, but definitely forgotten to order my kids' lunch a few times. Forget my friends' birthdays, forget to acknowledge sometimes people's holidays, and so not saying that I tell myself I'm a failure, but in no means do I feel like I have it all together. But it had me thinking this past week about that. Like, what does that actually mean to have it together? Where does that come from? Why is that even, that was said in such a beautiful praising way, but like, why do we praise that as well? Why is that important? And it just got me thinking. So here's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about this idea of the Supermom myth. And the Supermom myth is this theory, or not even a theory, but it's this myth, right? Of being the supermom, of doing it all, of being able to attend to the children, of working, being able to like be the good partner and have the dishes done and have the house cleaned and all of that stuff. And my dad actually, like, he will say that to me. He's like, oh my gosh, Piper, you are just such a superwoman. You're such a supermom. And again, I know he means it lovingly, but like, why are we praising that? Like, I, first of all, don't resonate with that. But secondly, it's said out of like love and praise. And like, why is that what we're praising? Why is that what we are trying to like affirm and celebrate? This myth, I think, is so deeply ingrained in society and in culture. And I do think it does a disservice to us. And it's not just you that thinks that you need to be a supermom. It's portrayed through social media. It's portrayed through videos. It's portrayed through what gets affirmed and celebrated, right? And what gets seen is like, that then reinforces, oh, this is good, this is how I should be doing it. And I think it's harmful to us in so many ways. I think the way that it's harmful to us is that when we are striving for perfection, or we think that that is the expectation, anything less than that can feel like a failure. And it actually hinders us from asking for help. It actually hinders us from being connected to our own intuition, whether in mothering or just in ourselves. I think that it does us a disservice because it doesn't allow us to be anything less than everything, if that makes sense. And so when there's this pressure that we need to be the super mom and you aren't able to do that, it really does make you feel, okay, maybe not everybody, it has for me, made me feel like a failure. And I've like definitely had conversations with myself, with my partner, with friends, with my therapist of like, how does everybody do this? Like, how are they doing all of it? And then I realized, oh, well, first of all of our circumstances are different. So we're all having to do it in different ways. We all prioritize things differently. So some people are able to do certain, things this way and certain things this way. And like, that's okay. But also, I think a lot of us struggle and a lot of us worry or have angst and pains about not doing it all in certain ways that maybe we aren't talking about. And when we have this pressure on ourselves that we should be doing it all ourselves. That's Supermom Myth, kind of ideal. Then the idea of asking for help really, in order to ask for help, we have to overcome feeling like a failure. We have to overcome any insecurities to ask for help. We have to overcome any difficulties with receiving help as well. It's not just the asking, but then it's also the receiving. And I think that for moms, that's a disservice, because then we don't get to actually live in all the ways that feel good to us. Instead, we are performing and trying to do it in all the ways that we think that we should. I also mentioned before, I think it makes us disconnect from our intuition. Women's bodies will tell them typically when they actually need to rest, when they can push the gas pedal, when they need to push the brake pedal, when they can be full steam ahead, and when they can just chill and be engaged with their family, or engaged in work, or engaged in community service. But when there is this pressure to do it all, I think that we disconnect from that intuition that is telling us how we can direct our energies. And that is not only a disservice to ourselves, but I actually think it's a disservice to our families and our greater communities if we're able to engage in them. Because then we're not really organizing ourselves in ways that feel good, in ways that are fulfilling to us, in ways that we're able to use our energy and have abundance around us. And so what I realized after reflection and this woman making this comment back to me about having it all together is that actually I think that we need to redefine what having it all together means and looks like. Because maybe I do have it all together. And that's not because I do everything at 100%, but maybe I do have it all together because, in fact, there are times that I leave the house messy because I just want to hang out with my kids. There are times that I actually engage in self-care and don't spend heaps of time with my children because I need a break. There are times that I prioritize having a date with my husband because I miss him and I want to have that time together. There are times that I prioritize doing work like this over engaging in time with my friends, or even having time with my kids, even though they're technically at school right now, because that feels important to me. There are days that I realize I need to rest and lay on my couch more and put screen time on with my kids because I need a down moment. So if that is what having it all together means in terms of being able to read my body and read what I need for myself, but also my greater family, then I guess it is all together. But it definitely doesn't mean that I do all the things at 100%. And it makes me think about, how do you do that? How do we engage in that? And I think there's a few things that really stood out to me. I think one, setting boundaries. And we talk about setting boundaries in so many different ways, but I think about this more as a time boundary. Setting time boundaries around either your work, whether that's in the home or out of the home. Setting boundaries around when you get time, if you have a partner, when you get time with your partner or partners, when you get time with your children. Setting boundaries around your self-care and self-care, also taking care of yourself, whether that be medical appointments, dental appointments, engaging in exercise, walking, whatever that is, movement of any sort of type. But I think boundaries can be really essential to helping us feel we're able to do, I don't even want to say do all the things, but do the things that feel important to us at the times that feel important to us. I also think that reducing media, social media, is really important. At least for myself, and just checking what your algorithm is feeding you. I know that there's times I'm more porous to looking at certain things in social media, and other times less porous to it, right? There's times that it makes greater impact on me, and other times that I'm whatever, it doesn't matter to me. But I do think that thinking about how much time we spend looking at other people's lives and what's the value of that, what am I actually getting out of that? I legit, you guys, I can be looking at social media, and if I find myself looking at it, I will be how is this of value to me? I ask myself that question. How is this of value? How is this adding to my life right now versus that which is happening around me? And for me, that helps me kind of put a little bit of foot on the brake to be is this worth it to me? Sometimes it is, by the way. Sometimes the answer is yes. It's yes, this is letting me dissociate a little bit. Great. But if it's making me feel like shit, or if it's making me feel in some sort of way not engaging in my life, I don't know if that's of much value to me. The other thing that I think that's really valuable is self-compassion. And again, I think that's something that's talked about a lot, self-compassion, self-compassion, self-compassion. But like a compassionate voice towards yourself is incredibly powerful in terms of fighting that criticizing, shameful, guilting voice. And I think the biggest way, or like the easiest way into that voice of self-compassion is, how would a friend speak to you? Or how would you speak to a friend? If one of my girlfriends called me and said, babe, I just cannot do it today. I can't do it. I just need to like lay down on the couch. I need to put some screen time on for the kids. I just need to chill. I would say, yes, girl, do it. Absolutely do it. You need that. Chill. Let the kids watch a movie. Who cares? It's not going to kill anybody. Everybody's going to be okay. You need it. So why wouldn't I offer that to myself? You know, why would I guilt myself or criticize myself for being like, you know what? It's the middle of the day, but I just need to like lay down and rest. Because typically, actually, I might have in the past. I might have been like, you need to be doing something. You need to be using this time wisely. You can do this. You can do that. And then when I really found that self-compassionate voice, I'm able to give myself grace and then actually conserve energy. I mean, here's the wild, mind-blowing thing. If I have compassion for myself on one day, it actually helps me have energy to engage and do all the things on another day. And that's what I was saying earlier. It's like when you lose a sense of connection to that self-intuition, to that self-connection, you actually realize like you're not using yourself in the most effective way. And so setting boundaries, reducing media engagement, and having a self-compassionate voice, I think are your 3 inroads into just being able to realize, okay, maybe I do have it all together, but doing it all together in your own way. How we have it all together, I think we need to redefine. I think that we need to talk to more moms about this. I think we need to talk to each other about even like, how do you define what all together is, but also, does anybody else struggle with this around you? I know for me, when I engage and talk with other moms, we all have our insecurities and we all have our ways that we think that we are dropping the ball or not doing it in a certain way or not engaging in all of the different ways that we could engage in motherhood. And if we can normalize that, if we can really engage in these conversations together, I think that we'll realize we're actually all in the same boat. And that just means that we're doing like perfectly imperfect parenting together. If this resonates with you, please like, subscribe, follow, do all the things. I hope to see you next week. Thank you.